Good morning, and this morning's theme will be all about street sweeping. Well, it won't all be about street sweeping, but we will get back to that in a moment or two, because first of all, let me say good morning. If I can possibly, yes, there we go. Let me say good morning, and it's Keith Hayes from Lewes in East Sussex, and I'm sitting on the High Street. It's not a bad morning, I suppose. The clouds are sort of gathering. Normally, well, the last few days anyway, we've been able to see the sun peeking over the downs there. As you can see, it's now struggling to peek through the clouds. So it's slightly chilly. Not a bad morning all in all. The High Street in Lewes, which is in the county of East Sussex on the southern part of England, is very quiet, much quieter than it has been actually. I don't know whether people actually get out of bed based on the weather, because there's quite a bit of busy traffic during the time that the weather was half decent. But anyway, here we are, and it's time to have a little rant and a little natter. One of the things that has astounded me is, I think, a reflection on our society is this business of the president of the United States, Donald Trump, being here. The papers have reflected generally that at the diplomatic level, the royal family level, that everything went off smoothly, that the meetings with the politicians went off smoothly, and that the demonstrations, as far as I can gather, although they took place, went as massive as everybody thought that they would be. But although I have to say that the web, which included news headlines from most of the major newspapers and from the BBC, didn't seem to reflect this morning, unless they haven't been updated, which I doubt, didn't seem to reflect that there was a great deal going on yesterday in that regard. However, I still have to take a look at the morning papers, and normally there's the man. There's the man. I'm going to miss him. Yes, we missed him. Never mind. That van disappearing into the distance. They just delivered the papers. So, he stopped. Yes, he delivers some just further down the road. But there's the newsagent, so we'll head over there after we talk to you, and we'll find out what's been going on from the newspaper point of view. But it doesn't seem as if it was one of those disruptive protests, and that pleases me somewhat if it wasn't. What I did find disturbing from my point of view, now look at me, how old am I? Well, old enough to be most of your grandfathers, I suppose. The thing that perhaps disturbs me the most is the puerile nature of some of the, drawing a huge penis, for God's sake. I mean, how childish can that be? And then getting Trump sitting on a toilet, and the floating in the air, and all these things supported by Jeremy Corbyn and Sadiq Khan. And I have to say that I just find if they go along with those sort of puerile things, God help us if we ever have them at the helm. I mean, I'm not trying to be political in any way. I'm not left, right, or whenever I make these broadcasts. I try to be very in between and impartial. But I must say that if that's the sort of thing that the left want to get up to, then I think that we're going to be in trouble. The sad thing is that Sadiq Khan, already one of the least popular mayors of London that there have been, his ratings are very, very low. But he does seem to do some very strange things. I mean, why call the President of the United States a fascist? It's damn silly, isn't it? Getting into that sort of argument, and it's because Donald Trump, of course, responded. Why he gets into that sort of argument, no idea. But Trump tweets. He loves the tweet, and he's just crazy that things are going on at that level through social media. But as several commentators have pointed out, is what happens if Corbyn does become Prime Minister. Here he is insulting, refusing to turn up to the head of state, meet the head of state, or even attend functions where the American president is in attendance. How's he going to negotiate with the United States? How are they going to view our country? And it's all very well to say, well, America, no, we don't want to be American. They are a huge, huge economy. And if they cut off the tap and forget anything to do with the EU its economy is on the way down at the moment. It's pretty rocky. It's not likely to get any better for the foreseeable future. And what we want to do is to insult our biggest potential trading partner. This business of the NHS, of course, the trouble is that Trump flies off the mouth. Since I'm a shooty lip type person, I understand how that can happen, no matter how you think how you're thinking about things. But the fact of the matter is that NHS has ceased now to be an issue. His aides have said, "Come on, how could you possibly involve that in any trade deal?" The idea of privatising the NHS is. I think that 90% of us in this country are very grateful for the NHS. I have Parkinson's. I don't think I could afford to have Parkinson's if I didn't get assistance from the NHS. I saw my consultant on Monday morning, delightful lady. We flirt. No, that's not correct. I flirt, and she's very kind and laughs. But I've got first-class attention from a first-class lady. I have to take pills to keep me upright. And to all intents and purposes, most people don't know that I've got Parkinson's because the treatment works. Perhaps you can tell because I giggle a lot, even about some serious things. In fact, one of my colleagues has taken me to account and said, "Please stop laughing quite as much." Sometimes when I'm sitting here and some of the thoughts that go through my mind about the things that have happened, I can't help it. We do seem to be in the middle of a Kafkaesque comedy or a Brian Reese farce or something. I mean, the people that are leading us are just... It's actually so ridiculous that one can't help but laugh. But anyway, I laugh a lot at Parkinson's, and I'm really think that in many ways laughing at disease, and it is actually a proven not cure, but it does help to keep things going, keep things away. A lot of laughter in our lives can help a great deal. So I hope that you can have a laugh and a giggle today. Even if it's only a headache, have a laugh at it and see what happens. But anyway, the NHS is no longer an issue when it comes to a trade deal. So that red herring has disappeared very, very quickly. All right, enough on the national scene, because I think we need to look now at the local scene. And, of course, we have in Lewes the very latest and modern street sweeping systems. There you go. Not quite in Lewes, using the latest modern street sweeping systems. And there is a battle royal going on at the moment between one of my colleagues and neighbours about the street sweeping in Lewes, because the agreement calls for the streets to be swept at least once a month throughout the year. And he pointed out to the council that this is the last council that they hadn't been swept for 12 months. Well, eventually, after about 10 letters and sort of threats of going to dump his lawn cuttings on the front of the town hall, or at least the district council offices, something was done. And even that, it was a bit of a farce, because only half the road was swept. And upon examination, the workmen said, "Well, we were only told to do half." and the half in which the council offices were. So, I mean, I think it's been corrected now. However, then nothing happens. Nothing has happened since. So he rightly has got excited, and the lady who is, I don't know if she's customer services, because that's dire. They have no customer services at the moment. They wrote to him or sent an email and said, well, we've inspected it and it looks all right. There is no litter. So he responded, said, we're not talking about the litter. We're talking about the dirt and the grime and the leaves which clog up the drains and that sort of thing. And she came back and still said, well, I don't know what you're complaining about. The litter has been looked after. So I don't know whether, the people down at the council are illiterate. On the Saturday morning, fancy making silly jokes like that, or not. But, they don't seem to understand sometimes what the issues are. Or they deliberately, and let's hope this isn't the case, because it's used quite often, they deliberately obscure the issue by trying to double talk and using words. Look, there is a difference between litter and the cleaning and sweeping of a road. There, you see, that road is litter-free, but it needs sweeping. I have no idea where it is, actually, but they are using the same sort of equipment that we do. No, not at all. We've got sort of Zamboni-type things to roll around, got little brushes that whirl like crazy. But it's that sort of thing that is taking place, which only tends to highlight the inefficiency and the mess which the executive of Lewes District Council has got itself into. Now, I pose this question: how long should we take to let a new council settle in? I mean, it's what, May the 2nd, wasn't it? It's now June the 2nd, so the new councillors have been floating around for a month. They're there for 4 years, and I suppose that long-term planning, strategic planning, needs to take time to set out. But already there is evidence that nothing has changed. If anything, it's got worse. I myself have got back to receiving threatening letters after I paid my tax. So the computer certainly hasn't caught up, except that it makes damn sure that it sends out letters demanding the fees. Now, the arrangements that were made on the edge of the magistrate's court, just to prevent the council going ahead in front of a magistrate so that they would be laid bare. The fact is that the high street is coming alive, but they've reneged on every deal. That I still haven't received a response to a complaint made last August. No, it's going to come up to damn near a year. And when we were in the courthouse, their lawyer made out a little statement, and it was duly signed, and it was sent back with the promise that a senior case officer would look after it. That was 2 months ago, I think, 3 months ago. The whole thing is, if somebody doesn't get a grip, then the whole thing is just going to collapse. And folks don't think that that's a happy situation. It's not one that we can sit back and laugh at, because they will then go into this special circumstances thing where the government will take over the running of the town. And with the way that the government is running the country at the moment, I wouldn't think that was a step forward. So, okay, let's give them another 2 or 3 weeks. But so far, this new council hasn't demonstrated any teeth. It hasn't demonstrated it's coming to grips with the problems that we've got. So whether in fact they will or not, and whether it'll be just the old infighting because of the cabinet system, which, as most of you know who watch, I find iniquitous, but nonetheless, this time they've got a cabinet. They insist upon going along with the cabinet so far. So the cabinet is to blame, and that's who we will focus on. And there are 4 people. So, luckily, just before I go, because it is time for me to go, the Mirador Television now is assembling a team of people, both here in Lewes and across the district, so that we can keep a much closer eye on what's going on, and that we can call to account people. Because already on social media is all the parties, which I also disagree the party system is suitable for local government, all the parties are already being defensive. Oh, well, you know, we're the Greens, and it's the Lib Dems that did that. We're the Lib Dems, it's the Conservatives did that. Blah, 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 round, round they go. I mean, common sense comes out of the independents, and there's only 2 of those left. Despite the fact that I asked you to consider about voting for an independent, but nonetheless, that's passed now. We've had the vote, and it's in. All right. Those are the things that I'm going to keep an eye on, and those are the things probably I'll continue to talk about tomorrow. In between time, this is where your council tax goes, getting the very latest modern equipment to clean the streets. Oh, well, never mind. Here we go. Toodle pip.